Okay, welcome back to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx. I do apologize for my last video. I guess the screen was dirty, so it wasn't clear, but the information was there. So let's kind of continue. I had to delete some files because my phone was running out of memory. So, hmm. So right now I'm just kind of getting in sync, dialing in, focusing, finding that sweet spot. Mm. And so I feel like this is uh, kind of the downside for doing like channeled readings and psychic stuff is I just like to get sucked in. I just like to be saturated in the psychic energy. Um, it kind of quickly goes beyond words and goes straight into just beingness. And I feel like, so on the inside, I'm having an experience. On the outside, it doesn't look like much is going on. hmm. And then I hear the greeting. So usually the greeting of the information coming in from higher mind or higher self, whatever you'd like to call it, just consciousness itself, it usually has like a pressing idea that it's trying to give you. And so what I heard, so learning how to hear things like kind of telepathically in your mind is like hearing someone in another room. So it's kind of quiet, kind of seems different, but vibrant. Like it, the there's like a, but anyways, and it basically says be your own authority. So you know, so all the information is wrapped up in a nice bow about being your authority. And this is exactly what we're doing because you can't really do anything unless you at one point focused on it. And when you focus on it, you bring it to life. So your focus, your intention, and your will, those are your wands to make action happen. So focus is an action. And the intention of that is your will. What do you want? Who are you? What is this all about? So when you master the art of focus and have a sit down focusing session, learning to bring all your energy and your resources here without strain, okay? Without strain. The more you relax your mind, the more you can focus, and the deeper you can focus. So it's like you're sticking your wand right into a chalice, or you're sticking your sword right into the lake. And it's the penetration of your focus, and it goes deeper and deeper and deeper into levels and layers of reality, aka dimensions. And I would say go slow, be soft about it. Uh, and then each layer that peels back, you gain knowledge, you gain information, and in a weird way, you gain power. So, with that knowledge, with that wisdom, you learn to become your own authority. You're starting to understand how your mind works. So, you're kind of penetrating your mind. And then the reverse happens. So it's like water and fire are two sides of the same coin. The more receptive you are, in a weird way, the more penetrating you are. And the more penetrating you are, the more receptive you are as well. Because what you penetrate, you receive, and what you receive, you penetrate. Like, so it's, and so, and you'll find that phenomenon happening if you choose to take up the crystal ball. Um, but I'm just gonna, it can be quite mesmerizing, quite hypnotizing, um, which are all good things. Just keep it in balance. So you're gonna have to learn, are you, when to pull back. You're gonna have to find your sweet spot. Once you find your sweet spot, uh, you're ready to go. So the crystal ball just opened for me, and so it's ready to go. I'm just going to channel the information that comes in. We'll put it to words. So it comes in as a energy or a frequency. You should, I mean, those words are used a lot interchangeably, but how I perceive frequency is the dimensional plane that you're on, because it has a certain pitch, okay? It has a certain tone, has a certain sound, and that is the measure of the frequency. And it's a plane because everything on that plane you now have access to, uh, of that frequency. Now we are talking in terms of energy. So, and what comes through, I wish I didn't have to explain that, uh, but this is how you master your mind, really. So, this is the ancient tool of mastering your mind. You're learning how to probe the depths of reality, of the mind, internal and external realities all exist here and now. You are becoming your own authority by self mastery. You will be surprised what you can do and what you can achieve. Nothing is outside of you, nothing limits you. Therefore, you could only be your own limitation. Mm. Mm. Never let anything limit you. This is the new age. This is the power of the mind. It's always been there waiting for you. Thus, we call it authority, the inner mastery. Lying before you are inner landscapes of infinite potentials. This is how we will describe it to you. So that's enough right now. I mean, it's streaming all this information. Some of it's for me, some of it's for you. It's all happening at once. So I'm not really pulling it apart. Some things I think are pretty profound that I just can't find the physical words to put to the concepts that are streaming through. And this is okay. It's better to just sit silently and let the energy stream through. You can receive the energy streaming through and you get your upgrades. Hmm. So we're definitely getting some visuals. I should say on my side of reality. Definitely see like a lion energy, like a female lion, I assume. Because I'm seeing the fur, but it's so close up, I just can't see the whole thing. But I recognize the energy and the texture of the fur. And I'm not seeing it in my crystal ball, I'm seeing it around my crystal ball. So I'm seeing the image through my aura. Oh, it makes sense. Because it's a symbol of personal authority. The lion energy, the lioness. Mm. And it makes sense because, like, Sekhmet and the energy of Ra has been with me this morning, like, which was pretty interesting. uh, which had to do with, putting on your crown and being royal. And it's through the exertion of the power, recognizing that you are a power in the universe. Your mere existence is power and you're personally empowered. So that goes into self esteem, self worth, and really honoring yourself existing. Um, this is the nature of true power, is really understanding it's a privilege to be yourself. It's a privilege to be you during this time of great awakening. Interesting. Realize now you are all born of great destiny. The power is always with you. Hmm. Just wanting to know who you are more, wanting to investigate and explore who you are, more of all of you, is how you draw forth that power. For the more you know, and knowledge is power, the more power you gain, which raises you up in authority and puts you on your throne and grants you a crown and your scepter to rule. So, right now, what's being stressed is divine authority. So, some people think authority figures over you, but when you're the authority of yourself in your life, it becomes clear to you uh, that you take your commands uh, from your higher self, basically. And that higher self is an extension of you into all of creation as one being. So it turns into universal consciousness. So realize universal truth, realize connecting on a universal level, and that's how you become more of you and true to you versus the individual, which is your ego self concept, which is your avatar. But they're all connected. So when you understand your own divine origin, It solves a lot of mysteries that a lot of other people are suggesting to you. Um, wow. Mm. When you realize your self worth, you'll be the doors of the inner temple will automatically be open to you. And that knowledge you'll be able to receive uh, because it'll be a part of who you are. For no man can open the doors of the temple unless he already has the golden key. So if you want that golden key, you got to realize your own self worth. Then those doors are open to you, and you will be granted the keys to the Temple of the Mysteries, is what is being said. And it's granted to all of you, whether it's reflected in one person's journey or in all of our journeys. We all must go through these thresholds. We all must pass through these rites of passage as they are for you. But we hope this for you so you may see clearly. Things get put back into balance with power issues uh, when you recognize yourself as the authority. Being one with what you call God, uh, with your heart filled with love, is how you understand yourself, the the and resolve the issue of polarities that seem to be plaguing humanity at this time. We'll have to say some, but not all of you. The invitation, the call, is always going out, sent from source energy, radiating throughout the universe. It's always divine timing. Who feels the call within and answers. Once again, we remind you you are of noble birth, coexisting within the universe. That may resolve some questions for you. Many truths are spoken through the unspoken word. It arrives on your doorsteps of your heart as a feeling for you to unpack. Learn to receive. That has always been the issue of whatever is blocking you. Learning to open up and surrender your heart is what's called the second birth, which will relate to the Sun card in the Tree of Life with the Tarot system. Notice it is above the death guard. And notice it is a child on a horse, a valiant steed. Horses are quite intuitive and always know where to go. You are like the passenger, a child on something that instinctually knows what to do. One way to open your heart is to surrender to who you truly are and give up the argument. For you really can't compete. Because who you are is what is, everything else is not. Most people are just arguing with themselves and they spend their lifetime doing that. And they're not in their power and they're not in their true authority. For true power comes to those who know how to and wish to receive. So we spoke about opening up with the heart because all the answers arrive to you at your doorstep and they're actually there before you pose the question. And so instant intuition, instant knowing happens because you've allowed yourself to be a receiver of those things and the knowledge just seeps in. So the answer actually arrives before your question. When you go to the temple of the gods, they will look at you directly to and through your heart. Their gaze is penetrating and piercing. And this is why you die. The fear of death is the fear to be seen. And so the gazing eye looks upon you. Those who have secrets, those who hide, have a natural sense of dread and fear and ominous. If you're fearing the future, if you're fearing the unknown, uh, it's all kind of complicated. It's uh, it's because they say wish to deceive, and all deception is self-deception. So you're obscuring the truth of reality. You probably bought into beliefs that you're unworthy, or due to certain circumstances, you have now been unclean or unworthy. This is not true. But these were things that happened to you. Those are the truths. And that is part of the inner alchemy. The more you allow yourself to be a receiver of the light and the energy, it purifies you and it burns off. So we recommend a slow burn as you all are invoking the gods and yet get so frustrated because we do not appear in front of you. It is actually because of the content covering your hearts, making you considered unclean. But we already know you're always seen, and so that when the gaze is upon you, relax and let it burn off and let yourself be purified to see how the gods see you as infinite children, kind of like babies. Who are always pure and who are always clean. But the cleaning off will happen, the washing off, the purification happens uh, if you wish to stand in front of the authorities, which are the gods, which are the powers, which are a part of all of us, but not you. So recognize this. um, It's a complicated matter, so don't question it. But if they are to be gods and you are to step into the temple of the gods, uh, then recognize you are not the gods. Mm. We can go into detail explaining the gods, but it really doesn't concern you right now and what you're concerned with, living your mortal lives. But you can consider God serving as a higher and greater capacity of all that is. You have a body, and so do we. But you will see. So I'm going to be done with this transmission, this channeling of the gods. Uh, and that might be a little bit of a reality shock for you, because I do work with gods. I've always worked with gods my whole life. So it was, so it's not a question for me if I believe in them, uh, or like it's a non issue. It's a mood point. Like, you can't have a conversation really about it. you know, it's not a conversation about belief. It's not a conversation to entertain, unless you've already been there and done that. So I think we all connect to the universe in our own way and understand it in our own way. And so, but yeah, I've always been connected to the Egyptian gods. Uh, I call them the nine powers, or the powers that be. Um, our that's just something that works for me. Like, it's an easy win. Like, through the filtration process of beliefs and programming, that door is still open. It's a beautiful golden door, and I feel super blessed to have that access. You may be channeling and accessing the same energies under, you know, and it's moving through a different set of filters for you, as clean as it can get for you. Um, but I think what's most important is not so much the words and the messages, it's receiving the frequency. So if the gods represent the universal intelligence of all that is, and that creativity of creation, and you're able to receive it, who cares what we name it? Who cares how it's animated and brought through for you? Um, so I invite you to just, enjoy that frequency if you so choose. But that's an experience of me just kind of like channeling through with the crystal ball. Not too many visuals came through, which was surprising. It was mostly a message. Um, and then I'm gonna start setting up sessions of, I'm gonna call it probably crystal communications. And I love working with crystals. They make great focusing devices. I think it's a great way to honor the earth. Whether they're psychological props or not, it doesn't matter. They're just tools to help us uh, gather those frequencies. Because frequencies are actually planes of existence. And when you're on a different frequency, different information is there for you, offered as keys to allow you, your own personal evolutionary process, to expand your consciousness and experience more of all that is. So obviously, I'm always channeling, whether I have a crystal in my hand or not. They're just fun. Uh, and thank you for being a part of this experience.